right. Welcome. Welcome everybody to our newest edition of Work Week Wind Down. Hey guys. So today we have with us Michael Curtis from Movement Bank as always. And also today we have Kris Brown, not the dancer, not the singer, but Kris Brown is
the original one.
Now, do you want to do a little pop?
I'm older than he is, so I'm
first. I can drop it. You're the original Kris Brown.
Yeah, so to speak, in name only.
Right. Oh gosh. Well, happy Friday. Look, that's what we're here to do, right? Just have fun, right? It's the end of the week, a long work week, and we're trying to wind it down. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves really quickly. Tell folks that are tuning in a little bit about yourself. I will have our contact information rolling at the bottom throughout the stream. So if you guys have any questions, need any advice from us, or would like to reach out to us, you'll have access to our contact down below. But I'll go ahead and I won't say we'll save the best for last, because I don't want to say that one is better than the other. So whoever wants to introduce themselves first, you can go.
Go ahead, Michael. I'll give you the honor.
Then, so I'll be the best. Oh man!
All right, Kris. So you're up.
Oh, I'm going first. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, hello everybody, and my name's Kris Brown. I'm the owner of 5 Star Home Inspections. Been in the business for about 12 years. Prior to that, I had a very lengthy career in the home building business, over 30 years. We are a multi-inspector firm based out of the Lake Norman area. We cover about 75, 80 miles distance from Center City, Charlotte, going everywhere. South Carolina, as far north as the other side of Statesville. We drift out to not quite to Asheville, but Hickory and on past that area. And then as far as east goes, we run out Albemarle, down the other side of Monroe, that geographical location. So we also just started opening up services in the Triad area, which would be Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point. We just started marketing up there, and we're gaining some ground and getting some position going. So we have 7 total team members. We have 5 home inspectors, a full-time marketing coordinator, full-time scheduling coordinator. So with being an owner of a home inspection business, when I first started, our whole entire focus is to provide service that shines above the rest. That's our mission statement. That's our tagline. I'm a firm believer in, it's not so much what you do, but how you do it that makes the difference, and that's what we feel that separates 5 Star Home Inspections out from a lot of our competitors. Because, we are bound to do the same things as far as the standards of practice and how you perform a home inspection, but it's all the little things that's packaged together as far as how we do it, and the other things that we have in place to provide that quality service that makes the difference. And that's what we're all about.
Love it. Well, thanks
so much.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks to all of our viewers. Thanks for plugging in and winding down with us today. This with Movement Bank. I exist to love and value people through whether they're purchasing an investment property, and also homeowners at refinancing as well. I'm also a veteran, so I love helping fellow veterans financing needs when it comes to the biggest thing that they can purchase, which is real estate, either through creating an investment vehicle to build passive income. So again, any questions with that? I know Lori already said it. Our contact information will be scrolling through.
All right. Well, awesome. Awesome. And for everyone that is new to the work week wind down, have not had the pleasure of working with me or know me, I am Lori Randolph with GLAM Realty, powered by Costello Real Estate and Investments here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a licensed realtor. 2 syllables, not 3.
Not
I like to have fun.
tour.
Right, not real love tour. It's realtor. Okay. I am licensed in both North Carolina and South Carolina. I work with investors. I work with homeowners looking to sell their homes, but I also have a sweet spot for my first-time home buyers. So if you guys are looking for someone that is trustworthy, someone that is going to have your back, that's going to be an advocate for you, I'm your girl. So give me a call.
I trust
Hey,
you.
Lori, a tangent. I got a question to ask you.
Sure.
What's the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent?
That's a good question.
I'm
That's
just
a
saying.
good question. So I will try to sum it up. I am long-winded, but I will try to summarize this. A realtor is someone that has taken an oath of ethics, right? This is someone that is going to not scam you, that's not going to focus primarily on the bottom dollar. They are going to make sure that they are protecting their client and the interests of their clients. It is a step further than just getting your license as a real estate agent. So just keep that in mind.
That's good.
So yeah.
It's a higher level.
It is. It really is. It really is. It's like, having well, I don't want to go there. I was going to give a bad example. So I won't. Well, I guess I will, because it's sticking out in my mind. It's like someone that feels like they've been called to preach, and then someone that has gone through seminary school and getting ordained and having the credentials behind them and all of that. So it's kind of,
yeah.
So yeah, that would be that would be my analogy to that. So, but thanks for the question, Michael. I appreciate that. So today we're gonna jump into our session, and today it's all about inspections, right? So let me go ahead, and I want to make sure that we are getting the contact information going down below. But what I want to do, I want to start out by asking Kris. Tell me, what is your opinion on why you think it's wise for our sellers to get an inspection before listing their home, even though 9 times out of 10, the buyer is going to have their own independent inspection conducted.
Well, we talked about this the other day. There is data out there on a nationwide level that pretty much is a proven fact that sellers that pre-inspect their home and have all of the information and the knowledge of the exact condition of that home will tend to actually sell on the average of 1.5% to 2% more than comparable homes that do not do that. And the reason for that is because when you're the seller, you have to choose what side you want to be on. Do you want to be on offense or do you want to be on defense? Okay. So when you don't get a pre-listing inspection, you're automatically putting yourself in a defensive position. Okay. You are going to have to defend repairs. You're going to have to defend monetary requests. Okay. It puts you in a very difficult negotiating position because all of the information that comes in from the buyer inspection could potentially be and will, not every single item, but obviously the major issues that come up will be used against you in some fashion or another. Either they're going to ask for the repair, and you're going to put money out for that. Obviously, if you agree to do it. In today's market right now, it's mostly monetary. They want you to reduce the price of the house to compensate for this, that, and everything else. So it constantly, no matter how it works out, it puts you in a defensive position. Okay. If you get the house pre-inspected and you have this knowledge of these issues before that house ever hits the market, okay, it puts you more in an offensive position for a couple of reasons. One is you already have common knowledge of these problems or things, and then that gives you the choice of whether you want to fix it, to eliminate it before it becomes back to you on a buyer inspection. It also gives you more time to seek out qualified contractors and get bids that will eventually save you money. Because the flip side of that is when you don't do it and you're on defense, the clock is ticking. You don't have any time whatsoever. House goes under contract, gets inspected, the information comes in, and all of this has to happen typically within 45 days on the average, sometimes even quicker than that. Sometimes a little bit longer. Okay. But the thing is, the clock is ticking. Okay. And it's going to go against you. All right. Because these contractors, they understand the situation. Okay. Their price is going to be their price. Okay. And you're more likely to go grab the first one that's available, no matter what his price is, to go get that repair done, because you haven't given yourself as the seller enough time to shop, to absorb the information. And, you could have potentially gotten that repair done, or, maybe made the situation a little bit better, where it wouldn't have cost you as much because of the time factor.
Right.
So there's a lot of advantages to it. Obviously everybody, they talk about the disadvantages, which, I'm sure there's a few. Okay. But the advantages, if you really stop and think about it, seriously outweigh the disadvantageous of doing the pre-listing inspection. So it's more advantageous, obviously, depending on the market. But it's always an advantage, no matter what the market's doing, to the seller, because now you're on offense, you're not on defense anymore. Okay. And it's a lot less stressful. A lot less stressful, and it may not see it on the surface. You spend $500-600, okay, and really what you're buying is an insurance policy from the time that house goes on the market till the time it closes. That's what you're buying. Okay, it really is an insurance policy, because it gives you the knowledge and the power to be able to refute something else Okay. It does. I promise if you get a pre-listing inspection, the money that you spend on it, although you may not see it totally on the surface, I promise you when it all washes out and the smoke clears and everybody signs the papers and you hand the keys, you're going to get that money back.
Yeah.
You're going to get it back. Probably double.
I love,
maybe even
Kris, I love how you use the analogy offense versus a lot of times we don't want to face some of these issues, right? Like it's that ignorance is bliss type thing. Or ignorance is anxiety in a lot of situations as well. Hearing is that this is a way to really remain proactive versus reactive. Listing inspection and really give yourself that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
You and your listing agent will be able to work together with the hood of that house, as it were.
Yeah.
So,
well, it gives you a lot of, yeah, I mean, it gives you an extreme advantage because you could say, okay, well, we have the house pre-listed, you know, we found a dozen things, okay, and you get prices on all of that, okay, and you say, okay, well, it's $10,000 to fix all of this stuff. You know, my house normally should sell for $400K, okay, which would be the market value. All right. I know that I don't want to spend the time fixing it. I want to sell it as is. Bing, bang, boom, full disclosure. Everything is on the table, and you just get the buyer to come in and say, look, we had this pre-listed, inspected. We know that these are the problems. We're not doing anything. We're not fixing anything. Okay. But the house is worth $400K. It should sell for that. That's what we want for it. Okay. But we will sell it to you for $390 and walk away from it. End of discussion, end of deal. Take it, leave it. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And just to piggyback on that note of if you do have a seller that is, you know, they may not have any cash on hand and they may say, oh, well, I don't have the money to do the repairs prior to the closing happening. Just know that, you know, you have the option to do an as is, and you have the option to do the credit, you know, on, you know, provide a credit to the buyer or reduce the purchase price, right? But once you have that inspection, once you have that inspection report in your hand, those items on there, they become material facts. And
right.
The language for real estate, if you're working with a realtor or a real estate agent, material fact is basically, hey, you can't cover this up. If you know about it, you have to disclose it, right?
And there really shouldn't be anything wrong with that because, you know, you want to find out now or you want to find out later. You're going to find out. You're going to find out. Do you want to protect yourself now by full disclosure, or do you want to sell a property and then have the potential risk of a buyer coming back after you because you didn't disclose something?
Correct.
How do you want it?
Because it will happen.
Here again. Do you want to be on offense or do you want to be on defense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the buyer could come after not only the homeowner, but also the agent as well. So
yeah, I mean, so the seller pays for the home inspection or what have you, you know. Yeah, I mean, look, it's insurance for everybody involved. It really is. All four. Buyer, agent, listing agent, buyer, seller. All four. It's insurance for all four.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, so you know, and obviously, you know, things are expensive to fix. Okay. Everything is expensive. It doesn't matter. I mean, you replace an HVAC system, you could be looking at, you know, $8, $10, $12, $15,000.
Yeah.
That's just one component of the entire house. Okay. Now let's say you've got problems with the crawl space. Okay. or you've got structural issues, or you've got, we're not talking about the little things, a door that doesn't work right, or a window or caulking or stuff like that. That's nickel and dime.
Right.
And those cost money to get fixed too. But in reality, compared to, some of the other major components, and the thing is this is, let's say, okay, you don't have the financial capability to pull $20,000 out of your pocket to do the repairs. So you're going to lean on the equity that you have in your house to cover the cost of those.
Right.
Okay. I promise you, if you don't get a pre-listing inspection, the equity that you thought you were going to get when it was all done is going to be way less.
Yeah.
It's going to be less because you put yourself on defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Michael, share from the perspective of on the lending side of things, when a homeowner is faced with receiving, an inspection report from the buyer, and there are some things that they want to have repaired. The homeowner is saying, hey, I don't have the money to come out of pocket right now, but I'll give you a concession. Obviously, that would need to go into an amendment for the contract. From your perspective, how should the amendment be written to prevent any red flags from, from the pre-approval or the final approval process?
So it's the way I like to describe it is you've got two things really happening at this, multiple, not just two. You've got multiple things happening all at the same time. You have a lending process happening, because 9 out of 10 times a home buyer, the purchase of the home, or at least the bulk of the home. You have a homeowner's insurance inspector. So there's multiple things happening. And so talking to you about with Kris is really what I consider to be within the real estate sphere, right? So that should appropriately be communicated and negotiated between the list and the listing realtor, while with the buyers and the buyer's realtor. Now, what I've seen on my side is, exactly what you just described. There's that may need to be repaired, and it could. I know, like Kris said, we've been just usually just the 1%. There's usually a little, maybe my wall from where the dartboard was at, or there's a spill on the carpet or stuff, but it adds up. It adds up, like Kris is saying as well. So, all these little things, from kids in the house, and puppy in the house, it's going to get tore up. And so stuff, and obviously, in this instance, if we're in that spot where we see repair, we need some paint over here, we need some drywall repair over here. It doesn't need to know all that. The lending side, what they're most need to, okay, what is the value of this asset? Because the bank, the lending institution, they care about that. This person is buying, that they are going into an agreement with to finance this home, able to be at the value of it's being purchased at. Because that's a whole nother can of worms that we can talk about in another call, on another live stream. Kind of circle back around, the way it should be written is that, if I can't repair the carpet, I can't get 4 or 5 different specialists. Well, a common agreement between buyers and provide you with a concession. It could be $1,000, $1,500, whatever the is to interested parties. All we need to know is what that is. If there's, and that can happen pretty much at any point during the loan process. I know Kris was mentioning, on average, the process of signing a contract to closing is typically, days, could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. And so at any point during that time, that be changed. And so once you sign the contract, it doesn't mean that nothing can change. There is flexibility there. And so going back to what Lori's saying, what we would do is simply stating what that value amount is. That would be the credit from the $1,000, $1,500, whatever it is, to the buyer. And that's it. It needs to stay in the real estate sphere. And on the lending side, we're just going to keep dollars and cents, the transactional stuff that surrounds the value of the home.
Okay. All right. So just plain and simple, providing, a credit for $1,500 to the buyer for closing.
Correct.
What we don't want to say is in lieu of repairs.
Well, with type of additional information. Now what's happening is the real estate sphere is now a sphere to where if you're earmarking the funds with other items, well, now the lending side is getting involved. Right. And they're going to want to know more information to keep it path of least resistance, to simply keep all of that stuff that's not on the real estate side. But the moment you start volunteering information, be like, okay, well, we've now got to look at the carpet repair and everything else, and so it adds everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's exactly where I wanted to just make sure to clear up any confusion as it relates to that. So tell me, Kris, let's talk about our home buyers. Those buyers that are out there considering new construction, a lot of them have the frame of mind or the thought that, okay, it is brand new. Why do I need to have it inspected? Tell us why you think it's imperative for buyers going the route of new construction to still have that inspection performed, especially like during that pre-drywall stage.
Well, let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
If you go buy,
this is going to be a good one. It's narrative. I can.
Okay, so think about it. So think about it this way: you go buy a new car.
Yeah.
Right? Go buy a new car. Okay. That car has been checked, combed through. Now I'm talking new, not used. That car has been checked, combed through by 100 people before it ever came off the assembly line. Okay. So it's about getting eyes on the product. All right. Checks and balances, that whole theory. Okay. I spent 15 years as a project manager, built hundreds of production homes. So I've been on that side of the fence many times. I had home inspectors come and do pre-drywall inspections on homes that I was managing. I've been in the superintendent position. Okay. And it doesn't matter how much experience that you have. Well, I retract that. It does matter. Okay. But when you are a superintendent or project manager and you're running, well, back in the day when I was doing it, I was running 25, 30 houses at a time, you can get snowblind when you're looking at the same thing day in, day out. Okay. And it's very easy, even for the most experienced and trained eye, to walk right by something and not notice it. Okay. Because as a project manager or site superintendent, you know, your mind is going 100 miles an hour. Okay. Because I'll tell you this, being a project manager or a site superintendent for any kind of construction project, I don't care if it's residential or if it is commercial. Okay. They don't get paid enough. Okay. They should be paid more than the guy sitting in the office running the whole entire division. Okay. Because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where it's going on. They have more responsibility than you can possibly even fathom. Okay. And they have to answer to everybody and everything. It is the number one toughest, most pressure packed position to be in the construction industry. And please take it from somebody that's been there and done that. Okay. I can go out now on pre-drywalls and run into the superintendent, and all I got to do is just look him in the face. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen that look before. I've been there. You know, it's tough. It's hard. So, you know, they have to put eyes on everything. I can promise you when I was in that position, you know, I would have somebody else come behind me and point this out. And I'm like, phew, man, how the heck did I miss that?
Yeah. How often do you think, would you say that happens?
Excuse me?
How often would you say that would occur, whether it was while you were in that line or like on your day-to-day going and doing inspections right now? How often do you find major issues that, you know, had it not been for that pre-drywall inspection, you know,
it's, you know, I mean, you have the county inspection process too. Okay. But the county inspection process, although it's very good. All right. The building codes are, very good. In a lot of ways, they're adequate, more than adequate. They've gotten better over, you know, the years. So, one of the things that everybody needs to realize when it comes to building codes, do you know where the sources of all the regulations for building codes even comes from?
I mean, does it not
No
start
idea.
with city council?
Insurance claims.
Oh, insurance claims.
Yep. It starts with insurance claims. That's where all of the building codes, well, I won't say all, not 100%. I would say 75% of the building codes are all dictated and have come into play as time has gone on over the last, you know, hundreds of years that we've been building houses. Okay. It starts with insurance claims. That's where it starts. Insurance company pays out $500,000 to replace somebody's house or pays $20,000 for a repair. Well, they investigate that. They're like, okay, well, how did this happen? Why did that happen? So on and so forth. Okay, well, how are we going to prevent that from happening again? Okay, and then they take that information and that investigation and they take it to the national level. Okay, and then they break it down to maybe the regional level or the state level. It filters, you know, and they have people in place, you know, that they figure out how to make products better, how to install better, you know, things that absolutely have to be done to prevent that problem from happening again. It all comes from insurance claims, a lot of it. You know, the rest of it comes from architectural design, structural engineers, and you know, some other, you know, factors, product installation, manufacturer's instructions, you know, all of these things. But 75% may be a little bit strong, but I'll stand at 50 for sure.
Yeah.
You know, that it comes from insurance claims. But when it comes to the pre-drywalls, as far as finding or issues or anything like that, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, we don't find anything for what I consider major. Now, my perspective of major, because of my experience and all that I've been fortunate to see over the years, may be far different from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just an understanding of what the problem is and what it takes to fix it. I mean, I've done these things with my own two hands, so I have a very, thankfully, I have a very common knowledge on how to build things. How to.
I'll say.
So but yeah.
As somebody that built a home, like is it with new construction, pre-drywall inspection, and the gentleman, he found that the contractors, they put two pipes too close together, and so these need to be spaced out more. And so I think, I remember walking before the before the drywall went up, and it was, it just looked like a spaghetti mess. It was like pipes and there's wires, and I don't know how he was able to pick that out of everything. To me, that was the power of an inspector. They were looking at the rafters that are good, and so as a home buyer, have them go through our home. We went with a local builder, built this home, and it was something I would highly recommend. Because you're right, you hear like everything's new, it should be fine. You don't need that, but I think that hands involved, and there's not like gross negligence. There's nobody, people try to work against you. It's just there's a lot of Lego set here we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too is I believe that there is a false sense in the consumer automatically thinks that the builder is trying to cut corners. Okay. The only way that the builder can cut corners is if he never permitted the building. Okay. And he's never going to be able to get a CO on that building unless it's permitted.
Yeah.
Okay. So the perspective of cutting corners is not really around the code enforcement, because on a slab house there's 15 inspections. 15. If you count them from when they dig the footers until they stick the mailbox in the front yard, there's 15 inspections, roughly. There may be some more. I've been out of the building business for a while. There may be less, there may be more now. The process may change. This is the way it was. There was 15 on a slab, there's 17 on a crawl or a basement. Okay? Now, that includes all of the structural, the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing. All right. Because you have inspections at rough stage, you have inspections at finish stage on all of those areas. Okay. So, when people have that fear that they think that the builder is cutting corners, it's not really from the code perspective, because they can't. That's why the pre-drywall is really super important. Okay. Because, sometimes we get in there after the county inspections have been done, or maybe about that same time. Sometimes we go in and have inspected houses before the county inspector had got there. Okay. I've actually been there on the same day at the same time the county inspector showed up. Okay. He'll talk to me and I'm like, just looking around. I don't tell him anything.
Yeah.
Their job, not mine.
Right.
So I've had them come in and say, "Hey, you doing a pre-draw?" Well, yes, sir. What'd you find out so far? Nothing. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I'm not going to do their jobs for them. Now I've done this. I've let them go around and do their thing, and then they write their little comments on the sticker and put it up on the window. And after they leave, I'll go over and I'll look at the stinger and I'm like, yeah, he caught that. He caught that. He caught that. He caught that. Okay.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I just want to. I know that there are some folks that probably have never gone through home ownership, the process, and they may not know what a CO is. I know that you mentioned that CO is a certificate of occupancy, and that's when you are doing any renovations to a home, or like when you have a new home that's being built. In order for you to be able to live in the home, you have to have that certificate of occupancy, and we generally just call it a CO. So definitely wanted to share that. Michael, did you have anything that you wanted to say? Because I know we need to wrap up. We're over our 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're running along. So thanks for sticking with us, guys. I did have a question come in a lot. And so I answer it as a lender, and I'd love to hear it from a home inspector. So lightning round for you, Kris. So 30 seconds or under, if you can answer. What is the difference between an appraisal and a home inspection?
What's the difference between an appraisal and a home inspection? Home inspection is the home inspection is inspecting the entire property from top to bottom, and the home inspection is focused around condition of the property. Okay, appraisals, their whole entire focus is value of the property. Okay, so look at it this way: most appraisers, when they actually come out to the house, they take the photos, they take the measurements. They're there maybe 15, 20 minutes and they're gone. We're there for over 2 hours.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So there's a big difference. There's a big difference. And another thing too is I've actually been on jobs when appraisers, this is the same thing as the county inspectors. I've been on jobs when the appraiser showed up. Yeah, the appraiser will come to me and say, "Hey, did you see this? You see that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't see anything. It's all good." Because you know why? If I open my mouth up and I tell them, you know what's going to happen? They're going to devalue the house.
Yeah.
They're going to add something on their side as well.
They're going to come up. They're going to come up with something to shave a couple $1,000s off the value of the house. So if there's any home inspectors out there that happen to see this podcast and you run into an appraiser, let me give you a piece of advice. Keep your mouth shut.
It goes back to the spheres, right? You've got
the
real estate, the lending, inspector. Everybody's got their own piece of the pie. Appraisals, that was a great Kris. I'll take it one step further. They're there for 15, 20 minutes, and then what they're at comparable homes in the area. So homes that are within like 3 to 5 miles for footage criteria. So it's a whole different ball game of what they're doing. Financing and appraisal is required. The home inspection is just like what Kris is saying, right? Your insurance from start to beginning, or start to end. But gosh, this was information, Lori.
Yes.
Kris, I really appreciate it. I learned so much from you. You are a detail man, and I can see that you take a lot of pride in what you appreciate you doing it and coming on.
We talked about this. There's 3 people on this screen that are very passionate about what they do, and details count. It plays a role. So I want to thank Lori and obviously you, Michael, for letting me come in and do all this stuff. This was a lot of fun. I want to do it again. So
absolutely. Listen, we can only cover like two real questions. So I know that there's tons more that we can cover, but we'll have to do it like in increments.
When we talked, I told you this was going to happen. When we talked on the phone yesterday, I said, Lori, I said, I'm telling you right now, I know you. Of course, I just met Michael and I know myself. And I'm like, nah, we're just going to get through one. And that's probably going to be about it.
I know, because everyone that knows me, they're like, Lori, you're long-winded. Can you just like give me the bite size, like bullet point?
Well,
that's what I need. Bullet point.
Well, and here's the thing is that I, as a home inspector, I mean, obviously, or an owner of a home inspection business, I mean, I go out and I do a lot of marketing, and I get put in a position multiple times where I'll walk into a room with 25, 30 agents and I've got 2 minutes, or I got maybe 5 minutes to convince them to pick up the phone and call us for our service. That's hard. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. So, all of these things that we talk about, even though it's only maybe one subject, the details and the experience, to me, outweighs the quickness of boiling it down. Because it's like, do you want to have, it's like reading a book. You want to read just 2 pages of the chapter, or do you want to read the whole chapter?
7-second reels on Instagram, Kris. So they're going for the bite size too.
Right.
Right. No, listen, in all seriousness, this was good. This is really
And I'm going to tell you, every time I try to do a short or reel, anything like with the little a short amount of time, like I'm always having to like re-record because I run out of time. It stops.
It's hard.
It's so tough. It's so tough. No doubt about it.
It really is.
That's why TV shows are at least a half an hour, sometimes an hour.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I've had a blast today. Thank you guys so much for joining me and being able to provide just not a few minutes or so of winding down for our viewers, but we're able to bring them some valuable content, right? This is stuff that they can use. And even if it's not for them personally, anyone that they know that is in the market of potentially selling a home or purchasing a home, they can share this information with them. So again, thank you guys so much. Any parting thoughts or tips or anything? I do want to let everyone know that Festival in the Park, it starts tomorrow. So it's going to be from tomorrow until Sunday. I always try to think of family oriented things that my viewers can check out here in the Charlotte area, but that's going to be at Freedom Park down in the Dilworth area. Go have a good time. If the weather's anything like it is today, it's going to be a fantastic time that you have out there.
Thank God for fall.
I know.
Ready for it. Ready for
I'm more of a cold weather creature than I am a warm weather creature. This is my kind of weather. This is my time of year. I love the fall. So I was born in the fall. So
there you go.
I like it. I like it. This is me. I just get tired of the heat. I just get worn out, tired of it. And I'm just like, man, I can't even go outside and breathe. And I'm an outdoorsy guy,
I like the transitional periods.
I have sweated gallons over my career.
Oh Lord.
I can believe that.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of doing it, so yeah, I just don't like that feeling anymore, even though it always happens. But anyways, So, and I actually feel sometimes for my guys, especially back there, I guess around, what was it, beginning of July or end of June or something like that. It got to be like consistency for a week or two. It was like, 98, 100, or more. Whew, man, I felt bad for him because I've been there and I've done that, you know, and it's, you know, give these guys in the home inspection business that are doing this work, give them a lot of credit, you know. They have a very tough job. They do. Their work is extremely important. You know, it provides protection in a lot of ways. Okay. But there's only 1,800 of us in the entire state. Okay. Some folks have gotten out of it. Some have come into it. It's not a glorious way of life. It can be fun, you know, it's a different adventure every day, you know, but there's a lot riding on the work that they do. Okay. And they are human beings. They're not machines. Okay. So, you know, give these guys credit for providing the service that they do, because it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Michael, anything from you? Any tips or parting thoughts?
No, I think it's just important to be learning. So thank you to our viewers for plugging in. Reach out to each one of about any step of the process, really. Lori is a great connector, connecting Kris and I together. And so, yeah, any questions there are, let us know. And otherwise, Friday and weekend.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All
Y'all
right.
have a great weekend.
All right.
Thank you.
Lori, thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.